I've just been like, I've been so angry recently, you know, lately I've been angry. Like, I don't know what we should do with it. You have any ideas? Maybe we give it a little. This week we're going to talk about project update, talking about all the things that have been going on, because once drywall starts going up in your house, it's a lot more about the finishing steps of the home. So a lot of details, a lot of ordering materials, finishes, faucets, lights, and a lot of problems, and Eddie losing a lot of money. $500 Eddie lost on this project. $450 rounded up 500, including time wasted, days lost. Oh, it's so crazy. We lost so much time. Honestly, I think we're gonna foreclose on the house now.
For the $500.
So these are all problems that we'll kind of discuss with you guys, so you guys could maybe avoid these problems. Another way that we utilize this downtime of drywall going up, other than looking for finishes, designing our kitchen, picking out tile and all that stuff, is working on the outside of the home. So like the pool behind us, we had to do a lot of work there. So we started on that, and if you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, in a couple weeks we'll show you guys what happened with the pool and how you guys could save $5,000 on your pool project.
Yeah, so you don't waste $5,000 like Sam did.
So like whenever Eddie's managing the project and doesn't do it properly, and doesn't make
$500, but then when Sam just says, oh, do this, do that, you lose $5,000.
Sometimes you gotta make decisions on the spot, and sometimes they end up being wrong decisions.
Yeah,
and that was a wrong decision.
$5,000, $450.
All right, so let's jump in.
So as our drywall's been going in, what we've been doing is running around and picking out all our finishes. Right here behind us is all of our tile, and we spent a lot of time trying to figure out what tile, rent out multiple stores.
Let me show them. Actually, I'm not gonna show you guys. We showed everyone on Instagram, and actually we had Instagram help us choose our tile finishes. So make sure you guys follow us on Instagram. We'll do a whole separate video on the tile once everything's up and it looks really nice and pretty. So make sure you guys subscribe. But yeah, let's tell them how we picked everything out.
So wait, you're saying that we're using Instagram to be our designers?
Yes, because we did not hire a designer, which ended up costing us a lot more time and energy and probably money on material as well. I definitely recommend to get a designer on board. We decided to opt out of a designer to save money in the budget, but I think in the end, it would have helped us focus in other areas of the house because we are not really experts in design. So getting our
future projects, we'll probably hire a designer.
Getting my fiance and his wife to help us with the design stuff is not really the right choice of action.
So that's the tile that we picked out. We'll do a whole video on that. Let's jump in and talk about how we set up the kitchen cabinets.
So the kitchen design stuff is something that you definitely want to pick out. The design is not as important as the layout, where things are going, and the items that you're using in the kitchen because of lead times once again. So in this kitchen, we decided to go with custom because RTA ended up being roughly about the same price, and with custom we get a little bit more design features and a little bit more custom, basically. The other issue was the countertop. So we learned a couple of things about countertops. We're gonna be using porcelain and maybe a natural stone for the island, but I think we're gonna end up using porcelain throughout. You wanna pick that out. You wanna try to design your kitchen to be more prefab and not as custom in terms of the stones that you're gonna use, because custom stones cost a lot of money. We'll talk about that in a future video when we go over the entire kitchen. But here's a little teaser of what the kitchen's gonna look like. This is not 100%, this is probably 80%. We're gonna change some of the colors, lighten them up. It's just a rendering, but this gives you a general idea of it. Another reason that you need to pick all these things out is because you need if you guys come over this way, sorry Eddie, I'm taking over this video. Over here you could see that we have a full skim coat, and over here you could see they kind of left it as is. You need to know all these things so you can tell your drywall guys where they need to focus their attention. We're gonna have upper cabinets here. So yes, we'll paint this all, we'll primer it, we'll seal it, but there's absolutely no reason to do a complete skim coat level 5 finish here because it's going to be covered. And this is gonna be stone, but just in case, they did a level 5 here in case we decide to paint it or we put tile or something else. To be frank with you, I don't know why they did this because I told them we're putting tile or stone. And on this side, we're gonna have a more open concept, as you guys saw in the rendering with floating shelves and stuff. So this, they made a perfect level 5 finish. Other than that, appliances. Another issue that we found out yesterday around 5 p.m. is basically appliances 3 months ago were about a month out. So I was planning to order them about 6 weeks out so I would have a 2-week buffer and have it in by the time that I need it. Unfortunately, I went to order appliances and they told me anything Italian, anything luxury line, anything basically that you want to put in your house is 4 to 6 months out. Now, unfortunately, I cannot deal with those lead times. So what I'm going to probably end up having to do is source these items from different locations, whatever they have in stock, buy that, maybe some open box items, any way that we could find this product because it's ridiculous right now. Like I can't wait 4 months. We're gonna be done with the house in 2 months and what, I'm not gonna sell the house? So that's the issues that we had in the kitchen. Once again, the design and everything else, we'll talk about another video once the kitchen is fully done and we'll talk about all the features and all those things. But let's jump to light fixtures because that was a whole nother array of problems.
So the other piece of finishes that we've been picking out is our light fixtures and all the lights around the house. And by we, I mean Sam, because Sam is the more design, aesthetically pleasing kind of guy.
So I actually enjoy picking these things out. It's just very time consuming and it's a very big learning process and trying to keep everything organized. The reason that you want to order these things at this point in time is because you want to make sure to have all these things in stock ready to install once everything is up and ready.
Lead times are bad right now. And also you can run into problems like this.
So let me talk to you guys a little bit about how I source these things. I basically search Wayfair, Overstock, HomeDepot.com, Lamps.com, every single website you can think of. What I've been doing is once I find something I like, I reverse image search it to find it somewhere else for cheaper. A lot of this stuff is basically made in China and different brands throw their names on it, even some of the higher end stuff like CB2 and West Elm and stuff, they have similar or very exact same things by other brand names that are the same item for a lot cheaper. Now this is not a cheap fixture. This is actually a $350 light fixture. It has little glass balls here and it's supposed to be really nice. But as you guys can see, all these details, it looks like this was made in a 5th grader's school project, right?
It looks like I spray painted this in front of my house.
When Eddie opened the box and he texted me saying, hey, this looks like a 5th grader made it, I was like, dude, there's no way. This is one of the more expensive lamps that I bought. This needs to be high quality. Now, unfortunately, Wayfair didn't do us justice and like, I don't know, man. I don't know what we're gonna do with this lamp. It just
the reviews weren't good, or
the reviews are all 5 stars, but I feel like this lamp is a little bit of like an eyesore, you know? And I've just been like, I've been so angry recently, you know? Lately I've been angry. Like I don't know what we should do with it. You have any ideas? Maybe give it a little love tap. In last week's video, you guys saw us realize there was an issue here. That issue has now been resolved by the handy dandy Eddie. I was not involved in the fixing of this, but it's fixed.
Yeah, so basically the fireplace wouldn't fit in here because we didn't take into account the thickness of the drywall. So I had to hack and slash and take out all the drywall they put in and even plane down this wood so that the fireplace can fit. The good news about this is we called the store that sold us the fireplace and we asked them about, hey, can we recess this fireplace all the way flush with our drywall? And they said there is no issue with heat management or anything. It just makes it harder to service. It's not a big deal. You can recess it. So now with that, I had to make a lot more modifications. And now our fireplace is gonna sit nice and flush with the drywall.
As far as the servicing goes, this is not something that needs to be constantly serviced anyways. This is more of if the item comes apart or breaks or there's an issue with it, it needs to be serviced, which shouldn't be an issue. These things come with warranty, so we don't foresee that being a big problem. And I think having the nice recessed finish is a lot nicer than having it sit out and possibly have to service it and have a little bit of difficult time servicing it. Let's jump to the next thing we had to fix with drywall.
When the drywall went up, what we realized is some of these light fixtures, we had to really pay attention to where it was, especially in this powder bathroom where this wall is going to be tiled. because we have our tile guys here and they're tiling everything, these fixtures were gonna stay in the same spot. What we noticed is one was too low than the other one. They were not exactly in the same spot. So I got up here, moved it down to make it so that they're on the same level. You can see my line that I drew. Now they can tile this. We had the same issue in our other bathrooms. They're not exactly in the right spots, but because those are not getting tiled over, we can fix it later when we actually have the fixtures here and the vanity put in. With that said, why haven't we finished drywall yet? Because of our shadow moldings. We need to put our doors in, and we're gonna talk about what happened with our doors. We bought our doors from Urban Doors, and they told us it's gonna be 4 to 6 weeks for them to hang our doors and have them ready for us to pick up. 2.5 months later, they still were not ready.
And you can see that they're in pieces and not hung.
So we ended up going and picking them up, not hung, pick up all the jambs and pieces separately, and we're assembling them here with our door installer. But when we picked them up, what happened?
So Eddie called me again, and he was mad this time. Usually I'm the one getting mad because 4 of the doors were messed up. I think 2 were different colors, 3 of them were damaged.
Yeah.
Like 4 or 5 of them had problems. So we had to go swap those doors out. Luckily, we picked up the doors, and instead of having them delivered, so we had a U-Haul already, so we went back, we switched out the doors, got the right doors, got all the jams and stuff in here, and then we got our door installers about a week and a half later to get in here and start installing them. And that's where Eddie messed up.
That was another problem, is finding door installers. So we had a really hard time finding a door installer, and this is a quick tip for you guys. We actually found this person at a windows and doors place. He was walking out and we asked him, hey, do you install doors? And he said yes. And the way he was talking was very different than every other person we've talked to. It was very clear that he knew what he was doing and what he was talking about. So we said, hey, come on over. He said, I can't come until Saturday, which was a week away. And we just trusted the guy. So we waited that week and had them come start working.
Speaking of trust, I trusted Eddie with the doors, and
on that Saturday is where some mishaps might have happened.
$500.
Let's switch.
$500. Let's not switch. Let me grab it. This is the door jams that we purchased from Urban Doors, which, by the way, their door jams are ridiculously expensive. These are all veneered doors and veneered jams and all that stuff, which means there's a thin layer of white oak on top and the rest of it is solid plywood, or not solid plywood, but plywood. But basically there's this, and then these are our new jams. Eddie, come back in frame. Why don't you tell them why we had to spend an extra $500 on jams? Or you had to spend, because I'm still waiting for the reimbursement to the company from your end.
So we talked about how these jams are supposed to be fabricated when they're being hung, and I didn't pay enough attention. And when the door installer was here, we talked about it. He thought I said one thing, I thought I said a different thing. It was a big confusion, and all of these got cut wrong. So all of these are trash now.
You can obviously tell based on the width of what it's supposed to be versus what it is. These were chopped down way too much, which brought us to this point.
So these are our new jams. The benefit that ended up happening though, that Sam fails to see, when you make mistakes, you learn things from it. These are actually solid white oak jams, and they're thicker. So there's a much higher quality jam than what we had before from Urban Doors, and these were a lot cheaper. So now we have a place to get better door jams.
If they were cheaper, why do we have to spend $500 extra?
Because we messed up the original ones we bought. Yes.
Not you.
This is a team effort.
No, it's not. I was so pissed that day. I came here, I was so mad. Because, not only because of that, because it was a Saturday and we couldn't get these jams until Monday. And then on Monday we had to figure out which finish, because they had a couple white oak finishes. So we didn't get them until Tuesday. We were working on the doors on Monday regardless, so it's not that big of a deal. But we basically lost out on a day and $500. But we learned where to get better jams, and we learned how to do things properly. And Eddie learned that if you don't 100% understand that the communication has been done properly from you to the vendor, that you continue going over things until you're 100% sure everything's right. Because once you cut down a piece, there's not much you can do. Yes.
Yes. So let's talk about the total cost of the doors. So our Urban...
Whoa. I think we should save that for another video when we go over all the doors once they're installed and the details and the paint and the finish. That's a good idea.
That's it for this week's video and our project update of what we've been doing for the past few weeks. In the coming weeks, we're looking for painters. We're gonna get our doors installed. We're gonna get our shadow moldings installed and take you guys along for that ride and talk about how much all that's costing us.
If you guys want to see those videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Comment down below if you guys want any specific videos on any part of this project. We're trying to wrap things up fully before we talk about them because we're also in the learning phases. But we appreciate you guys' support. Follow us on Instagram so you can help us pick out our finishes because I'm not a good designer and we didn't pay for a really good designer, so I need you guys' help. We'll see you guys next week.